Hello, welcome to our channel, Top 10s You Should Know. In this episode, I'm bringing you something powerful, the top 10 identity upgrades that change everything about you. This one could change more than your mindset. It could change your entire life. Let's begin. 1. From victim to creator, taking back control of your story. The moment you stop seeing yourself as someone life happens to and start seeing yourself as someone life happens through, everything shifts. The victim mindset keeps you trapped in blame, waiting for things to get better on their own. But when you upgrade to creator mode, you take full responsibility for your path. Not because it's easy, but because it gives you power. This doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means choosing what comes next. If you've been replaying past hurts, missed chances, or unfair moments, pause. Ask yourself, what can I create now? Because healing begins not when life treats you right, but when you decide to shape it yourself. 2. From perfectionist to learner, letting go of flawless to embrace growth. Perfectionism feels like striving for excellence, but it often turns into a cage. It tells you that you're only worthy when you're flawless, which is impossible. And once you fall short, which you always will, it whispers, try harder, do better, wait until you're ready. But here's the secret. No one is ever fully ready. Real growth happens when you accept imperfection and embrace movement. This shift, from needing everything right to valuing every step forward, frees you to take risks, make mistakes, and learn faster than waiting for ideal conditions. If you've been holding back because you're afraid of messing up, let go. Because being unstoppable doesn't mean never failing. It means failing forward and learning all the way. 3. From overthinker to observer, watching thoughts without becoming them. If your mind never stops racing, if you replay conversations, predict failures, or imagine worst-case scenarios, you may not realize how much it's draining you. But over 90 days, learning to step out of that mental loop can make you feel like a completely different person. The key? Upgrade from being an overthinker to becoming a conscious observer of your thoughts. Instead of getting lost in the spiral, you begin to watch them pass, like clouds in the sky. This shift builds resilience, focus, and even emotional freedom. If you've been trapped in thought loops, try opening your awareness. Because sometimes strength isn't found in fixing everything. It's found in watching it unfold. 4. From people pleaser to self-respecting leader. Learning to say no without guilt. For many of us, saying no feels like breaking a rule we made for ourselves long ago, one that equated approval with worth. But when you start building self-respect, something incredible happens. You stop shrinking to fit into other people's expectations. This shift begins with small acts. Declining extra work on weekends, protecting your energy, or speaking up when you used to stay silent. Over time, this builds a new sense of self. One rooted in boundaries, not fear. Friends may notice you're less reactive. Colleagues might say you're more confident. And inside, you'll feel lighter. Because once you stop needing everyone's approval, you finally give yourself permission to lead. And that kind of growth doesn't just change your behavior, it changes your identity. 5. From burnout to balance, learning to care for yourself. First, burnout creeps in slowly, until suddenly you're exhausted all the time, that even on your days off. But 90 days of learning to care for yourself truly can transform how you show up in the world. From saying no to overtime, to sleeping before scrolling, to eating meals without guilt or rush, to moving not for punishment, but for joy. These tiny shifts add up to a bigger one. You becoming someone who actually listens to your body, who honors your limits, and who shows up to life with presence, not pressure. If you've been pushing too hard for too long, give yourself permission to slow down, because the strongest version of you isn't the busiest. It's the one that knows when to rest and chooses to anyway. 6. From dreamer to builder, acting like the person you want to be. Dreaming is beautiful, but it rarely brings real change. What does? Stepping into action even before you feel ready. Identity upgrades happen when you start acting like the person you want to become. Not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's uncomfortable. Whether it's showing up early, speaking up in meetings, or taking ownership of projects. These small choices teach your brain that you are capable. Many people report feeling unrecognizable after just 3 months of this shift. not because they changed too much, but because they stopped hiding behind hope and started building with hands. If you've been waiting for motivation, stop. Start acting like the person you're trying to become, because confidence grows not from dreams, but from doing. 7. From reactivity to response, choosing calm over chaos. We all get triggered, whether it's a harsh text, an offhand comment, or a stressful moment that pushes us to snap. But what if, instead of reacting out of habit, you learn to respond from clarity? That's the shift that happens when you train your brain to pause, breathe, and choose your reaction. Most people wait until they feel 100% ready, but courage doesn't wait for permission. It acts while still nervous, while still uncertain, while still shaking inside. Over time, this builds trust in yourself, proving that you can move forward even without guarantees. If you've been caught in cycles of frustration, try changing your response, because leadership of yourself begins with choice. 8. From isolation to connection. Realizing strength isn't meant to be solo. There's a myth that strong people go it alone, that vulnerability is weakness and asking for help is defeat. But the truth is, true resilience thrives on connection. Being unstoppable doesn't mean doing everything by yourself. It means knowing when to ask for support, when to lean on others, and when to share your burdens. Some of the most powerful people are also the most humble, because they understand that collaboration builds momentum. If you've been carrying everything alone, believing that independence equals strength, try opening up. Let someone walk beside you, because courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "I need you." 9. From scarcity to abundance, training your brain to see what you have, not just what you lack. So many of us live with a silent voice whispering in the background, "I don't have enough." Whether it's time, money, love, or success. Scarcity thinking keeps us small, anxious, and always chasing more. But abundance isn't about having everything. It's about appreciating what you already have. This shift rewires your brain to focus on opportunity instead of lack, on gratitude instead of greed. Studies show that people who practice daily gratitude feel calmer, more motivated, and more capable of handling stress. If you've been stuck in a cycle of wanting more before feeling happy, try this. Write down 3 things you already have that make life meaningful. Because sometimes, strength begins not with gaining, but with recognizing. 10. From comparison to contribution. Stopping the race and starting to matter. Comparison steals joy, especially in a world where everyone shows off their highlight reel. The trap is easy to fall into. Why haven't I achieved that yet? Why does it look easier for them? But when you shift your focus from comparing to contributing, everything changes. Suddenly, success isn't about beating others. It's about offering value, making a difference, and growing forward, not sideways. This mindset helps you stop measuring your worth by someone else's path and start walking your own. If you've been watching others instead of building yourself, give this shift a try, because real impact isn't made by those who chase attention. It's made by those who choose meaning over measurement. All right, friends, that wraps up our list, the top 10 identity upgrades that change everything about you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs a reminder of their inner strength, and subscribe so you never miss another episode. Thank you so much for watching.